Hi, I'm Karen Weary, licensed marriage and family therapist. Today I'm here to talk about three myths of divorce. Myth number one is that the marriage or you were a failure because of getting a divorce. Myth number two is that marriage leads to misery. Myth number three is I can never trust or love again. Starting with myth number one, that you or marriage was a failure. Let me share this with you that if you have not ever experienced any failure in your life, you have not lived at all or done anything whatsoever. I like to really not use the word failure because I prefer to use the word trial, experience, experiment, test. The thing that happens, imagine if you as a 10-month-old baby and you are learning how to walk and you fall down on your big old diaper behind as you're trying to walk and you decide for yourself, oh, nope, I'm a failure at this whole walking thing. I am never ever going to take another step again. And 40 years later, you're still scooching around on your behind. It's entirely, utterly outrageous when you think about it like that. However, in reality, we as human beings do this all the time. We have one or two little things that didn't work out just the way we wanted them to be, and we give up. That's it. I can't do that. And we just take that as just a natural normal thing. Now, there are some times where we might consciously choose that that's not for me and that's perfectly fine. However, in the big scheme of life, if this is our mode of operandi, that we're always giving up and we're never um, going to just push through and challenge and learn and grow from our experiences, then we're not really living much of a life. We are shrinking our life down into this tiny little version of what our life can be. Instead, if you take this divorce as a way to decide that maybe I need to learn a little bit more about how to be in a relationship. Maybe I have some things that I grew up with that led me to behave in certain ways that led to not being able to um, have a successful relationship, marriage. Which then leads us to the next step, number two, myth number two, that marriage leads to misery. I think that's extremely unfair to blame the whole thing on something, an institution, a legal contract that's called marriage. Because it wasn't marriage that got in the way of you having a happy life for the rest of your life with this other individual. What happened was that you made a choice to be with this other person and you chose to continue to behave in certain ways that led to a relationship falling apart. Now, I'm not saying it's all your fault that the marriage didn't work. This is not about assigning fault. It's more about taking responsibility and taking a look at what was the pattern of what happened in this relationship. Think about it this way: when you got together with this person, you were much younger than you are now, and you had less life experience, which means that you were a different person then. Now you have grown, have more life experience, and therefore you can make more, hopefully, wiser experiences. Again, as I mentioned before, maybe you need to learn some things about how to be in a relationship. Maybe you need to learn some communication skills. Maybe you need to resolve some of your own issues that are getting in the way of relationships so that you can go ahead and overcome and be better individually and as moving into potentially a new relationship in the future, and not carry the baggage that you brought with you from the previous relationship into the new relationship and restart that whole negative cycle all over again. Myth number three, I can never trust or love again. I must protect my heart. This is what happens for a lot of people who get divorced or break up. They don't have to legally have been married, is that they build a wall. And this wall can become like the Chinese wall, um, where nothing, we do not allow anything to penetrate in through that wall to our heart. And we kind of, like I mentioned before, take out a lot of what happened to us, what we experienced, onto new people. And when you really think about it, think about how lonely that is when you don't allow other people into your life, whether it's an intimate life or a friendship. When we leave people and we want, because we want to protect ourselves, then we also eliminate ourselves from feeling love, warm fuzzies, happiness, joy with other people. We can find these things within ourselves. Now, the thing is that if we cannot allow other people in to experience those things, usually we don't know how to have experience those feelings by ourselves either. There are lots of tools and steps to get to where we can learn to heal our heart and open it up again, and know to whom we can open up that heart to again, and learn what the signs are of somebody who probably is not going to treat our heart well and respect it, so that we can end or set healthy boundaries early on before we allow them to trample it and rip our heart to shreds. And that's really what it all comes down to. That is my challenge to you. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you next time.